According to the book of Exodus, God instructed Moses to build the Ark of the Covenant during his 40-day stay upon Mount Sinai. He was shown the pattern for the tabernacle and furnishings of the ark, and told that it would be made of shittim wood, also known as acacia wood, to house the tablets of stone. Moses instructed Bezalel and Aholiab to construct the ark. The book of Exodus gives detailed instructions on how the ark is to be constructed. It is to be 2.5 cubits in length, 1.5 cubits breadth, and 1.5 cubits height. Then it is to be gilded entirely with gold, and a crown or molding of gold is to be put around it. 4 rings of gold are to be attached to its 4 corners, 2 on each side, and through these rings, staves of shittim wood overlaid with gold for carrying the ark are to be inserted, and these are not to be removed.
So like a curious traveler on a quest, we embark upon a journey of information. Stay with us for a ride into knowledge.
Let me ask a few questions just for fun. What if the Great Pyramid of Giza was built to be used as a tomb for the pharaohs of ancient Egypt? What could its real purpose be? It's believed the Great Pyramid of Giza may have been deeply connected to the Ark of the Covenant, and it's hypothesized that the Great Pyramid of Giza could have been used to house the Ark of the Covenant. Now, in 1955, there was a replica of the Ark built to biblical specifications. It fit inside that granite sarcophagus with pretty good precision. The volume of cubic capacity of the coffer in the king's chamber is exactly the same volume to the Ark of the Covenant as described in the Bible. Now, could there be some common measurements that was maybe used that goes back to antiquity? Could there be some common builders involved? It's also been pointed out that the pyramid inch, that's the same unit of measurement that was used to build Noah's Ark, Solomon's Temple, and the Ark of the Covenant. Well, at least the authors used the same mathematics. Anyway, the defenders of this idea base their proof on the fact that the measurements exposed in the sacred text match with the size of the open sarcophagi that never contained the pharaoh. A project called Scan Pyramids analyzed the ancient structure with advanced equipment, and researchers detected thermal anomalies inside the Great Pyramid. This reveals some details we've never considered. The thermal anomaly inside the Great Pyramid is something hard to actually understand. It's believed that the temperature inside the pyramid stays constant and always equals the average temperature of the Earth. Now that's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It is also possible that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a giant energy machine, built with ancient technology that has been lost to today. The suggestion is the Great Pyramid of Giza has some missing pieces. Maybe some ancient components were maybe taken from the pyramid. The pyramid was built and sealed long before the days of Moses, and there is no natural explanation for the phenomenon of both structures having identical volume measurements. Some suggested the original Ark of the Covenant was maybe brought from Atlantis. But the book of Exodus says God gave Moses the exact instructions and precise dimensions on how to build the Ark of the Covenant. And the Bible explains the constructed box is to contain the commandments. And not only did it carry the 10 Commandments, but it was also said to be the throne of Yahweh himself. Wherever the Ark of the Covenant went, Yahweh went with it. The entire ark was plated with gold, and a crown of gold was put around it. This could have been for the insulating properties of gold. The whole construction was made of good insulators. Now, one of the lessons found in the Bible is, of course, look but don't touch. When a hand was laid on the Ark of the Covenant, he was struck down by God. Its size and contents could have delivered something similar to 100,000 deadly bolts to the unexpected. And it seems it happened more than once. Researchers have suggested if the construction details of the ark were recorded in the past and were used today, then the ark would basically resemble an electrical capacitor. It would have two electrodes separated by insulator drivers. Theories range as to what the ark truly was, but some believe the Ark of the Covenant was a generator of unknown, uncontrollable, and deadly force. It was an artifact that was forbidden to touch, and those who would carry and touch it had to have protective clothing. The others would need to stay back a good distance. The descriptions of the ark basically tell us that it was something extremely powerful and dangerous. Energy could have been used as a weapon. Remember Jericho? The proof of its power lies in reading the instructions for the assembly of the tabernacle. These instructions were concerning the tent of meeting, where the ark was guarded, and also the precise rules for assessing the inside. According to the measurements, the Great Pyramid is the most accurately aligned structure in existence and faces true north with only 3/60th of a degrees of error. The position of the North Pole moves over time, and the pyramid was exactly aligned at one point in time. Even more unbelievable, the Great Pyramid is located at the center of the landmass of the earth. Now, the east-west parallel that crosses the most land and the north-south meridian that crosses the most land intersect in two places on the earth. One is in the ocean, and the other is at the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid of Giza must have been an important construction, one that was planned and created in the far-off distant past. The cornerstone foundations of the pyramid have ball and socket construction, capable of dealing with heat expansion and earthquakes. Now that's a pretty big task, you would think, for ancient man thousands of years ago. And as weird as it may sound to many, maybe its true purpose was to act as a giant power plant that was able to harness incredible energy and act as an ancient amplifier, sending energy toward the countless receivers put in place by ancient man. The laws given to the Hebrews, communicated primarily through the ark, they say, included those for everyday living as well as those necessary for working with the ark itself. The latter laws were specifically designed to protect from radiation contamination from a cloud, it seems. It was this cloud that could have contained a radioactive substance that descended on the ark. I have another idea. It wasn't the Ark of the Covenant that killed people. Now, of course, you know we're having fun here. But the passenger sitting inside with his knees drawn up under his chin. Yahweh was as nervous about being seen back then as he is now. So he used to travel around in his box. And on one occasion, he was abducted by the Philistines and passed back and forth around their homes for 7 months, and then towed back home by 2 cows. He was probably feeling stressed out by the claustrophobia, the humiliation, and maybe a bit of motion sickness. And when the Israelites opened the lid to welcome him home, he naturally lashed out and struck 50,070 of them dead. Just more food for thought.
Thanks for watching this and all our videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, stay curious, fellow travelers, and have a great day.